Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
Welcome back to the podcast. This is Dan, the No Comfort Zone guy. Our choices and our decisions and even our actions can get us into a place that can be a really positive, successful place, or it could put you into a really bad place and actually create more compounded adversity. It works both ways. So last night, I was actually driving to Bloomington, Illinois from Rockford, and that's about an hour and 15-minute drive. Some people that I live with will tell you that it takes 35 minutes, but that's not the case. I try to obey all the speed laws. Last night was a little unique, though, because it took a lot longer. So what happened is as I'm leaving the house, the snow started to come pretty bad. And it was one of those snows where it was wet and it was icy and it was just packing really, really well. And when I got on the major expressway, because it's a straight shot, it's about an hour straight down, just expressway. And it's 2 lanes on one side and 2 lanes on the other. And it's in the middle of farm country. So driving those roads is hazardous, one, because sometimes the wind gusts can be pretty aggressive, but also two, it's you're literally in between farm country, and as you're driving through that area, there is it's very dark, it's not well lit, and it was bad yesterday, and the snow was blowing right in my direction, and I was cruising along, and I'm driving a vehicle that has snow tires, and it's an all-wheel drive. In case you ask, it is a BMW X5, and I love it. Don't know if the next car I get is going to be that. Actually, it's my wife's car, but don't know if that's going to be the next one because we lease it. But we might downsize a little bit. I'm starting to think more about that. But it's a great vehicle, and I absolutely love it. And it was phenomenal in the snow last night. But what I noticed was as I was driving, and what ended up happening as I was driving was there was areas where there was clean land. It was no issues. But because of the gust, there was snow that drifted across the road and caused havoc. So here I'm cruising around, speed limit I think is 65, 75, something like that there. And I'm cruising along at 50 miles an hour. And then I hit one of these snow drifts and then lose control of the vehicle. Well, this was happening, for an hour. So I decided to go 42 miles an hour and just cruise along and be safe about it. What was interesting is that there's other people, semis, that have spun around and got stuck in the ditches. There's a couple of cars and now think about this. This is only 60 miles from point A to point B when you're on the expressway. But there was 2 cars that were flipped over on the way. And I'm thinking to myself, it's snowing. And this is even the worst part. When I was coming back to bring my son back, one of the cars flipped over after because I drove past that area. So the moral of my story is this. Sometimes in life, your decisions, you're going to have to slow down a little bit. And the reason why I tie that into there, with me putting myself into this no comfort zone challenge, I've taken on so much personally that I want to get all these things done, and I want to get them done now, and I'm going to really make myself uncomfortable. And, and when you talk with me on the phone, and, thanks for the call the other night, by the way, I appreciate it. You know who I'm talking about here on the podcast. So I appreciate it because what I wanted to do was I wanted to accomplish as much as I could in a short time period. But then now I'm starting to ask myself, what's the quality of that? Does it really need to get done in 30 days? Does it really need to get done in the 60-day time period for my timelines? And as I just turned 50 yesterday, I think to myself, I'm thinking more, and I'm starting to get a little bit wiser here, is that, these breaks, these times to sit down and tune yourself up a little bit are something that I've never accounted for or even talked to on this podcast. I might have mentioned it from a sales point of view and training and management training and stuff, but when it comes to your own life, to reset it, just so you know, on Sundays for my No Comfort Zone, I reset the No Comfort Zone clock. I get uncomfortable during the week. I try to do as much as I can personally and for business, for family as well. I try to make that time so I don't get comfortable with too much business or, too much downtime. or too much family time. So what I do is when I get to that moment, I start to feel a little comfortable doing that. I try to acknowledge that I need to go do something that's going to be a little bit more productive, and I can always come back to this later. My point being is that on the Sundays when I actually do take time to take a break, I do take a break from all the No Comfort Zone stuff. I connect with a few different people that I'm close to within this world of the No Comfort Zone. But for the most part, it's either spending time with my wife or my family, and believe it or not, my dogs. So I just wanted to get that out there and share with you that, in life is that, that road going from Rockford, Illinois to Bloomington to get to the destination that you want, you got to do it safely, and you have to do it, in your own time. And sometimes you just got to slow down. So last night, I was 45 minutes late to the destination, although we were communicating back and forth, that where am I at in regards to where they're at, because it was bad, because we meet at a halfway point. So the interesting part was I was more concerned that for being late. Now, I'm not going to risk my safety. Sometimes I might, but just to prove a point. But I know a lot of people on the road did. They made some poor decisions. And then you ask yourself, and I'll tie it up with this. I learned this when I went to a financial class because my ex-wife ended up writing a bad check. Now, whether I didn't have the money in there or not, I don't think that was the case. I just think she overspent. So I had to take time away from my job on a Saturday to go to this, basically a class held by the county, to say, basically, you wrote a bad check. Now you need to learn how to not write bad checks anymore. And yeah, it was a good class. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's Personal Finance 101. Here's news flash for you. Don't write a check if you don't have the money in your account, which is what she ended up doing. So since it was my account, I was responsible to go to the courts. I got court ordered to go. That was probably 17, 18, 19 years ago. And I was pissed for going. I was really upset about it. But one of the things they said is that the reason why you're here today is because you've made poor choices. And when you make poor choices, there's consequences for those choices. And when there's consequences, you sometimes narrow your opportunities to make other choices. I hope that really makes sense, because when you make bad decisions or you compromise yourself, what you end up doing is you're not having as many opportunities to make freedom, power of choice and your own free choices because of decisions you made. When you you're not going to be able to write another check again, so that's a huge inconvenience. You're not going to be able to work, which I enjoy doing. And because you have to go to this class, now you have consequences, and those consequences mean you can't go to work right now. Some people I know would love to get out of work to go to one of those things and blame it on that. Some people would love to go to jury duty. Hey, in the United States of America, it's our civic duty, if you vote, to be to be a juror. To do that. I've been summoned a whole bunch of times, but I do have a way out. My brother-in-law is a judge, so I can always put that on there, and I do, that he's a judge, and most of the time I get dismissed, don't have to report for jury duty. But there's some people that actually love doing it and can't get away. It's like a vacation from work. I don't know if that's where you're at in your life. I don't know if that's, great, good for you, do your civic duty, but in the end, are you really that unhappy with your job? I don't know. I just think to myself that life could be lived so much better. And that's what the No Comfort Zone's all about. How to win in 2020. My project manager and I, Flo, were talking quite a bit. And one of the things was, what are the results people are getting now? And I just said it in passing. I said, some of the people that I'm with right now have had adversity. They've never had a real big win. And I say that all the time. I say that continually. The one thing I need today, I just need a big win. When I'm having a downtime, I just need a big win. Today, I need a win. I just need a win today. And that's what I'm focused about. And some people really do need that. So the blueprint, the NoComfortZone.com, the No Comfort Zone blueprint, the method of how to be successful, how to get past adversity, how to get the things you want in life, how to live a better life, and how to find the hero version of yourself. It really is all about winning. What's your object that you want to go towards? What's your objective you want to hit? And how are we going to get you there faster and in a stronger position? How are we going to posture you for success? And that's what it's all about. It's like grooming for success. So anyway, I hope this podcast finds you really well. I'm still driving in the snow. It's super early, and the roads are still pretty bad, so I'm going to get back to it. But I did want to check in with you and let you know that, hey, it is time. Today is the time for you to get outside of your comfort zone and live on purpose.
say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at No Comfort Zone 1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.